Today, let's talk about this equation. 20 over x is equal to square root of x. And we just want the real solution for this. So I do have a YouTube show on this already, but I just want to provide more details, especially how you go about solving this equation. Firstly, let's observe how many solutions are we really going to have. So I'm just going to look at the graph for y is equal to 20 over x. I'll put that down right here for you guys. It's a positive number over x, so the graph will look something like this. Now draw to scale. This is y equals 20 over x. The other one, square root of x, starts right here, and then you just go something like that. So this is y equals square root of x. So as you can see, we are going to have one real solution only. Now, how do we go about doing this though? Two approaches. First way, of course, I'm just going to multiply x both sides, so we get 20 equals x times square root of x. And then I will square both sides so that we can get rid of the square root. So here we'll get 400. And here, because it's a multiplication, I can just do x squared times square root of x squared. Of course, they cancel, which is just going to give us x. So that means we have 400 equals x cubed from here and here, right? And then I will just take the cube root both sides. And x is just equal to the cube root of 400. So that will be the answer for this thing right here. And I'll also tell you, this right here is approximately 7.368. So here's a question that people ask me on my YouTube short. Because once we get to this point here, we have x cubed is equal to 400. Aren't we supposed to get 3 answers though? Yes and no. Firstly, because we're looking for the real solutions, so we only have one. You can use the graph to show it. So that's one thing. However, if you want to get complex solutions, yeah, if you take cube roots on both sides, make sure you just multiply by omega. You guys can check out my previous video on what omega is, so you can get complex solutions. However, I do want to mention, this right here might be tricky because this is not the original form of the equation. This is. So sometimes when you square both sides, you have to be extra careful because you might create some extraneous solutions. So again, if you don't have anything above, if you have x cubed is equal to 400, yes, you do have 3 solutions, 1 real, 2 complex, but we did square both sides, so be careful. Yeah, be careful. Now, what's the other way to go about solving this though? Second way, perhaps slightly quicker. If you look at, or still multiply both sides by x, so this is 20 equals x times square root of x. If you look at square root as the 1/2 power, that is going to be x times, this is x to the 1/2 power. Well, they have the same base, and this is like x to the first power. So we can just add the powers together, or add the exponents together. So add the exponents, 1 plus 1/2, which is 3/2, so x to the 3/2 power. And now, you can solve this in one step. Yes, you can square both sides and take the cube roots on both sides, or you can raise both sides to the reciprocal exponent here, which is 2 over 3, and do the same thing here. Because when you multiply the exponents, this and that cancel, this and that cancel, so we just have x by itself. So x equals 20 raised to the 2/3 power. And in my opinion, of course, this right here is totally fine. And of course, if you rewrite it, the 3rd power is the same as the cube root. And then if you look at this as 20 to the 2nd power, of course, that's the same as the cube root of 400, which is exactly what we have over there as well. So yeah, that's it.